Hello everybody, my name is Teacher Carrie and I'm your teacher for General Mathematics. Today we're going to discuss about functions. Our learning competencies include representing real-life situation using functions, including piecewise functions, and evaluating functions. Our objectives include distinguishing different kinds of functions, evaluating functions, and sharing examples of real-life situations which can be represented by functions. Are you ready to begin? Let's begin. Algebra gives us a way to explore and describe relationships. Imagine tossing a ball straight up in the air and watching it rise to reach its highest point before dropping back down into your hands. As time passes by, the height of the ball changes. There is a relationship between the amount of time that has elapsed since the toss and the height of the ball. In mathematics, a correspondence between variables that change together, such as time and height, is called a relation. Some, but not all relations, can also be described as functions. Real-life examples of relations. Think of the members of your family and their ages. The pairing of a province with its governor. Can you see the relations? Each member has a specific age, and each province has a specific governor. Can you give more examples? Let us review the following terms. 1. Any set of ordered pairs x, y is called a relation. A set of ordered pairs in which no two ordered pairs have the same first component but different second components is called a function. A function f from a to b is a relation from a to b where each alpha, an element of set A, there corresponds exactly one beta, an element of set B, such that the ordered pair AB satisfies F. Any set of permissible input values is what we call a domain. Any set of output values is called a range. X values collectively are what we call independent variables, and Y values collectively it's known as dependent variables. Think of the function as a machine. A machine, or what we call function f of x, when we place raw materials, also known as inputs, can produce products or outputs. Representations of functions. On the picture, you can see different representations of the functions. Let's begin with a mapping diagram where you can see the input x and its output y. Number 2, you have the table of values where you have all the values for the input x and another column for the values of the output y. Third is the graph. It is where you can see the set of points that corresponds or that composes the function. 4, equation. This equation gives the function. 5, the rule of correspondence, and lastly, the set of ordered pairs. Now, take time to do this review activity. This review activity is given for you to answer within 5 minutes. Given the following models, identify the kind of function being shown on each item by choosing from the list in the box. You can pause this video to give you the ample time you need, let's say 5 minutes, and then press play when you already have the answers so that we can check. Have you already answered all the 8 items given? Let's check. Number 1, f of x is equal to 7x. Yes, it's a linear function. Number 2, g of x is equal to x squared. You're correct. It's a quadratic function. Number 3, h of x is equal to x cubed plus 2x squared minus x plus 1. That's right, it's a polynomial function. Number 4, you have the set of ordered pairs 1, 2, 2, 4, 3, 9. That's right, it's 1 to 1. Number 5, you have there a set of social media, but in the first set you have Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all mapped to social media. That's right, it's many to 1. Number 6, you have the Philippine flag as an ordered pair as the X value of the ordered pair and the word Philippines as the Y value for the ordered pair. That's right, it's 1 to 1. Number 8, f of x is equal to 8 when x is less than or equal to 5 but greater than 1. And the f of x is equal to 8 plus 1x when x is greater than 5. That's correct. It's a piecewise function. Now that you have already answered the review activity, if your score is more than 4, then congratulations, you're ready to continue on to the next step. If it's below 4, then I think you have to review the terms. Basically, I will give you a brief background on what a function is and on the terms discussed in the review activity. Let us look at the diagram shown. A relation that is 1 to 1 can also be a function. The topmost mapping diagram shows 1 to 1. It means that for every value of x or every value of a in set A, it only corresponds to one specific element B in set B. Many to 1. Many to 1 can be a relation as well as a function. It is shown at the second mapping diagram. You can see there that there are many elements in set A mapped to a certain element in set B. Number 3, one to many. A one to many relationship can never be a function. And lastly, many to many is also a relationship that cannot be a function. These are shown in the bottom 2 diagrams on your screen. We also have different kinds of functions available for review. The first one is our identity function. It is where your value of x corresponds to your value of y. Next, we have a constant function. This means that no matter what value of x you place or you replace x with, the function gives the same y. In this case, f of x is equal to 3.5. Linear function. This is a function that has a degree of 1. The diagram shows f of x or y is equal to x minus 6. Next, quadratic function. You can see there that the quadratic function is y is equal to x squared minus 4, a parabola facing upwards. Next, we have a cubic function. A cubic function, f of x is equal to x cubed minus 5 is shown in the diagram. Third is the rational function. Rational functions is one of our main topics in this subject. Next, you have the modulo function. The last one is the greatest integer function. We also have the signum function. And lastly, the piecewise function. For most of you, the piecewise function is a new kind of function. But did you know that functions can be in pieces? We can create functions that behave differently based on the input x value. This is shown in our review activity item number 8. A function, as shown in the picture, is made up of 3 pieces. Example. We can have a piecewise function such as the example that follows. When x is less than 2, it gives x squared. When x is exactly 2, it gives 6. When x is more than 2 and less than or equal to 6, it gives the line 10 minus x. It looks like this. A solid dot means the point is included. An open dot means it's not included. And this is how we write it. F of x is equal to x squared if x is less than 2. This f of x is 6 if x is equal to 2. And this f of x is 10 minus x if x is greater than 2 and x is less than or equal to 6. The domain, or all the values that can go into the function, is all real numbers up to 6 and including 6, which we can write down like this. The domain of the function is negative infinity 6 using the interval notation, or the domain of the function is a set of all values where x is an element of real numbers such that x is less than or equal to 6 using set builder notation. And here are some example values. When x is negative 4, y is 16. This suffices the first condition. When x is 2, therefore y is 6. This suffices the second condition. And when x is 3, y is 7, since this satisfies the third condition. Given a function f of x is equal to 2x, what is the result when you replace x by 2 in the function? If x is equal to 0, and if x is equal to negative 1. Do you remember how you used to do this before? You're correct. This is what we call evaluating functions. So when you replace x with 2, given the function f of x is equal to 2x, the steps to undertake in evaluating functions are as follows. Substitute the value to the variable. Do the operation to find the value of the function. So solution when x is equal to 2, f of x is equal to 2x, f of x is equal to 2 times 2, f of x is equal to 4. When x is equal to 0, f of x is equal to 2x, f of x is equal to 2 times 0, f of x is equal to 0. Can you give me the answer when x is equal to negative 1? You're right. F of x is equal to negative 2, as shown in the solution. Now, I want you to answer the evaluation questions that follows. Please give yourself enough time to answer, pause this video, and click play when you're ready to check. How was the evaluation so far? Let's try to see how much you have learned. Number 1. Which best represents the situation below? The sweet corn sold in the canteen is at 7 pesos. If I want to buy X pieces of sweet corn, how much will I pay? What is your answer? That's right. It should be letter B. F of x is equal to 7x because the number of sweet corns that you will buy is the value that you will replace x with. And of course, since each sweet corn is 7 pesos, multiplying the price to the number of items that you will buy will give you the amount that you will pay. Number 2, represent the situation in any possible model. With Santa's family, Mama and the eldest child are both blood type A. Papa and the youngest and the middle child are all blood type B. Let your teacher check your models individually. Letter B. Evaluate the following. Number 1. H of x is equal to x cubed minus x squared plus x minus 2 if x is equal to 0. Then you will have to substitute x, all the x's, with 0. That means 0 cubed minus 0 squared plus 0 minus 2 equals, that's right, negative 2. Number 2, g of x is equal to the quantity of x plus 4 multiplied to the quantity of x minus 1 if x is negative 2. Replacing x or substituting x with negative 2 will give you negative 2 plus 4, which is 4, multiplied to negative 2 minus 1, which is negative 3, will give you negative 6. Number 3. F of x is equal to 1 over x if x is 3. This is easy. You just replace x with 3 and it will give you 1/3. Number 4. H of x is equal to square root of 4x minus 2. The terms 4x minus 2 is all under the square root. So, we will substitute x with 1. 4 times 1 minus 2. 4 times 1 is 4. Minus 2 is 2. Therefore, the answer is square root of 2. Number 5. F of x is equal to 5 times quantity x plus 2. If x is 4. So 5 times 4 plus 2, or 6, will give you 30. Did you answer all the items correctly? If you answered more than half, then you are ready to proceed to the next lesson. If you answered less than half, you might as well review the video or review evaluation of functions and representation of functions. This time, you can proceed to the group activity or you can do this activity individually. Go to your teacher to check if you're able to get the correct answer. Individual activity. Evaluate the following functions. Give yourself ample time to answer, pause the video, and click play when you're ready to check your answers. For number 1, f of x is equal to 3x when x is 4 makes the equation 3 times 4, which is 12. Number 2, f of x is equal to x over 2 if x is 0. Therefore, 0 over 2 or 0. F of x is equal to 2x cubed minus 8 if x is negative 3. 2 times negative 3 cubed minus 8 gives you, correct, negative 62. Number 4, f of x is equal to the square root of x minus 3 when x is 12. 12 minus 3 gives you 9. Square root of 9 is 3. Find practical applications and concepts of scales in daily living. Think of real-life situations which can be presented by a piecewise function. Think of situations where evaluation of functions can be applied. One possible real-life situation which can be represented by a piecewise function is the internet payment or your taxi fare. Can you tell me why? One situation where evaluation of functions can be applied is when you are computing for salary or when you're computing for fare, even when purchasing items. Can you explain why? Let's check your learning. What are the different types of functions? What are ways to represent functions? How do we evaluate functions? Let your teacher check your answers to verify your learning. Additional activities are given for remediation or supplementation. That's it for this lesson. Thank you very much. See you in the next one. Bye!